talking about issues of self-esteem as we continue in our journey of raising adolescents. In the last lecture, we talked about 3 areas where your teenager needs some stability. The first was the whole area of stability, and we talked about stability in school, stability in the home, stability among friends. Then we talked about areas of self-esteem, and then finally, we talked about areas of security. In this lecture, I'll be focusing on areas of self-esteem. Now, when the word esteem is mentioned, what comes to mind? What is esteem? It is respect and admiration, typically for another person. It has a sense of worth built in it, a sense of reputation in it, and one easily holds one's colleagues in high esteem. So when it comes to self-esteem, what are we talking about? It is the confidence in one's own worth, the confidence in one's abilities. Many times the word self-respect is used synonymously with the word self-esteem. Now, built within self-esteem is the ability to deal with challenges without crashing. When a person has a positive self-esteem or a healthy self-esteem, they can deal with challenges without crashing. Think of 2 situations during this COVID pandemic. There are many people who have lost their jobs. Some will go home, take a nap or take a walk, review their CVs and send out new job applications. Others will be completely crushed, maybe not able to recover for 1 or 2 years. They actually sink into depression. What makes a difference is their view of themselves, their self-esteem. So when self-esteem is low, you'll see it in a number of ways, usually manifested in the whole area of performance and appearance. So talking about performance and appearance, these are the indicators that help us to see whether or not a person is struggling with their self-esteem. You find a person who will erect defenses, a person who is a bully. A bully looks strong, but on the inside they are actually very weak. They are struggling with their self-esteem, so they are fighting through life with their bullying. The bullying is a mask they put on themselves. They are fighting with their fists. They look aggressive, but when the bullies are on their own, they're actually very lonely people. Then there are those who withdraw, who will conform, who will stay out of trouble. And many families will not even notice anything wrong with a child like that. They are withdrawn, they follow the rules, everybody likes them, but deep inside, they are reacting to issues of self-esteem. Then there is the clown, the class clown. When children are young, the clown is funny. When they become teenagers, what used to be funny in the early years is probably not as funny. The clown makes jokes about everything. Sometimes they make jokes about themselves, the way they look. And instead of allowing people to laugh at them, they make a joke about the issue and let people laugh at the issue, but deep inside they are very lonely. In talking about clowns and comedians, one of my favorite comedians is Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire. Boy, he acts well. But do you know how Robin Williams died? He committed suicide. Why? I don't really know, but people who commit suicide are usually people struggling with self-esteem issues. He had probably disconnected himself from his emotional network, and when he was in trouble, he was unable to find help. And so when he's on his own, when nobody's watching him and laughing, he is not laughing at himself. His issues are not resolved by being a wonderful actor on screen. People who are comedians, people who are struggling in their self-esteem, it's not very easy to see it on the outside. You have to go deep inside to be able to find out where the real struggle is. So we want to make sure that when we have children in the home who are withdrawn, children who are very aggressive, we look beyond the surface and go into finding out what's really going on deep in their hearts. People who have to make it through life, who have to be accepted by performance, many of them are struggling with self-esteem. What does a healthy self-esteem look like? When a person has a healthy self-esteem, it's like one who has a healthy body. When you have a healthy body, you wake up in the morning and you go do what you need to do. You are not preoccupied with your liver. You're not preoccupied with your spleen. The moment you begin to think about your spleen, there is something wrong with it. So a person with a healthy self-esteem is healthy on the inside, but they are focused outward. They are focused on helping others. They are focused on building the best in other people. A healthy self-esteem is developed and nurtured in children when they are still young. When children are praised and cherished, they begin to grow up with a healthy self-esteem. They become confident and secure. You know, a healthy self-esteem enables people to bring out the best in others. Friends, knowing your child is the best kept secret in child raising. Knowing what your child is struggling with. Now, the world has many ways of dealing with self-esteem issues. Some of the people tell you to teach your child to be more assertive. Well, does that really work? You see, now you have a child struggling with self-esteem issues, but trying to be assertive. You are introducing a new factor to this child's life without resolving the old factor. As a matter of fact, the bully is often very assertive, but that assertion does not resolve their self-esteem issues. So don't treat this issue at surface level. Find out what is really going on beneath the heart of that child. You know, in Matthew 5:36, there's an interesting verse that says, "Do not swear by your head, for you cannot make your hair white or black." Now, that's interesting, because we live in a day and age where people color their hair. But let me ask you, when the new growth comes out, what color is it? It is the same original uncolored color. So if you have gray hair and you color it black, when the new growth comes out, it is still gray. So have you effectively made your hair black or white? No, you haven't. You have made it look white, you have made it look black, but the original color remains. An attempt to address self-esteem issues without going to the root is like coloring hair and pretending to look young, when in actuality, the actual color of hair is still underneath. It makes you look young, but you are not young. When you address self-esteem issues on the surface, it makes the issues look resolved, but deep inside, they're still the same old issues. Now, parents love to take their children to good schools so they can get an education. And many times we think that when a child has a very good education, that's part of the solution to their self-esteem issues. Now, you may be partially right, but see, education in institutions gives a systematic instruction in specific disciplines and eventually leads to a career. Now, in the world, the success of a person is usually measured in career and net worth. In school, it's often measured in grades. Now, while education gives knowledge, builds career, what really builds self-esteem is none of those things. What builds self-esteem, you'll be shocked to find out, is actually adversity.